Hello, welcome to Skill Check, the positive gaming podcast from YMCA Exeter. My name's Andy.
And my name is Becky.
And Becky, it is so ridiculously hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's not as hot as it was last year. Let's put it that way.
Well, not yet. Not yet.
Um,
I'm also very aware that we've been recording for about 2 seconds and I can already feel my voice.
Yeah.
Hear my
voice.
voice going.
Yeah. Yep. It's warm. And it's making me very sleepy. That's what heat does. Makes me very sleepy. Makes me want to sleep.
Well,
which is not, I mean, if there's anyone important is watching this, I actually am doing work. It's not like I'm not sleeping just straight through work. However,
coming up, we have, we're going to attempt a discussion over the question, is gaming good for you?
Ooh, interesting discussion.
We are talking Cassette Beasts.
Yep.
Which is a little bit like Pokemon.
Okay. I mean, it's got the word cassette in it, which suggests to me that it's, like, quite retro.
It's incredibly retro.
Okay.
Points. But first things first, we have gaming news. Gaming news. It's time for gaming news. I've got more energy. Let's pretend we're not,
warm and sleepy
at all.
Great.
Sleepy.
So sleepy. I am reading the gaming news, honestly. Our first piece of gaming news is the ever ongoing saga. Surprise, surprise. We might know by the end of this year. Will
someone turn around and go, "We've had enough."
Yeah. A US judge has temporarily blocked the Microsoft $69 billion takeover of Activision Blizzard. The court says that a temporary restraining order is necessary to maintain the status quo while the complaint is pending. The US Federal Trade Commission says the deal could substantially lessen competition in the sector. The deal has split regulators in the UK, the US, and Europe, with Europe approving the deal while the US and UK oppose it. Microsoft believes that the future of gaming lies in players having subscriptions to libraries of games through cloud gaming rather than making one-off purchases, which is the main way of accessing games at the moment. It's the ever-ongoing saga of Microsoft and Activision Blizzard.
Yeah. I mean...
What have we said? What can we say that we haven't already said?
Microsoft have obviously already put things into place to try and make it as fair as possible. Someone doesn't like the idea. Someone really likes the idea.
And he's really bitter because he wants it to happen.
No, I want Google Stadia to never have closed.
Oh, what a dream.
For benefit of viewers who are new, Google Stadia was actually a cloud gaming.
And Andy's really sad about it.
I'm a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
But, as a result, I started on Game Pass
and now your Xbox, you're keen on Xbox.
I've got an Xbox to play Game Pass,
Yeah. Yeah, whereas I sit on a bit more like the Sony probably side of the argument, and I have a PlayStation.
I mean, to be blunt, I'd be perfectly happy with PlayStation as well if they had the same collection of games I could access for that sort of money.
Well, we've got some news coming out later, Andy, that might make you very... Well, we'll see whether it comes soon. The second piece of gaming news is the Xbox Showcase, and we've got lots of Xbox Microsoft news.
Many games.
Yeah. Xbox fans have finally got a long-awaited look at console's upcoming games. After Sony's summer offering was widely seen as a disappointment, the expectations for Microsoft's own showcase were cautious. The general verdict seems to be that it put on a pretty good show. Fans got a glimpse of the fantasy role-playing game Fable, thanks to a 2-minute trailer starring a giant Richard Iwadi. I love Richard Iwadi. Other games from Microsoft's own studios
Who doesn't?
include Forza Motorsports, Obsidian RPG, Avowed, and Hellblade 2. I can't even say that. How do you any ideas? Senua's Saga. Senua's Saga.
It's okay. I messed up last week.
There was also a good mix of third-party games. The biggest being the reveal of a multi-format open-world title, Star Wars Outlaw,
which looks massive.
Yeah, and then there was Starfield, the AAA rated game from Elder Scrolls studio, Bethesda. One of the main complaints about the event is that a lot of games teased won't be out until next year.
Okay, let's press pause for 1 second. 2 things. Fable.
Yeah.
Apparently, people are saying, oh, well, that must be all CGI generated. That must be like specially made for the trailer stuff. Apparently, the trailer is in-game footage. As what the game actually looks like. Which is insane.
Yeah, there was a little bit about that in the article, and it was saying that it's got to, like, they've got to have it at 30 frames per minute or second or whatever it is.
Is that Fable or Starfield?
Maybe that was Starfield, but it was one or the other.
Because Starfield is the next point, that is also just insanely big.
Yeah.
I mean, there's sections where you'll be able to explore a planet. You see a moon.
It might have been Starfield, actually.
The moon is moving around the planet in orbit.
Oh.
And you can actually fly to that moon.
That's crazy.
And you can also play the game in so many different ways. My favourite that I've heard about so far is that you can basically go around stealing people's sandwiches.
Okay.
And just have a big sandwich pile.
Yep. Just have a big pile of sandwiches.
Yeah.
Do you get to eat the sandwiches? Or?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I'd like to think so.
They do something special, these sandwiches.
Look pretty.
So there's lots of games to look forward for you to for your Xbox, Andy, and also a new Star Wars game, which I'm sure we'll have many a conversation about the new Star Wars game.
It looks huge. I mean, I'm starting to.
That's the only one I watched the trailer for. Yeah.
What sort of spec machines people are going to need to play some of these games?
Yeah. Well, that's the comment. I mean, I think it was about Starfield, but it's saying that actually they'd have to be at the higher frames per second rate because of how big and how graphic these games are. They have to be at that higher frame rate just so you can get so you don't feel like it's jumping. I'm
hoping Starfield will be, going back to the cloud conversation, I'm hoping Starfield will be available over cloud gaming because it's never going to be playable on an Xbox One, and don't think my PC will take it.
Yeah. I watched the Star Wars trailer for the Star Wars game, and that looks pretty epic too. It's very open worldy, like lots of fun, and classic Star Wars characters.
Yeah, it looks very. Yeah, you've got classic. It just looks like Star Wars.
Yeah,
it just feels like Star Wars, and you've got lots of characters there with good amount of humour and flesh out characters, I guess.
So it'll be interesting to see when we come to next year, Andy might be reviewing these games in Game of the Week.
Well, Starfield's out in September.
Ooh. So look out for that one in Game of the Week in September. Andy will be reviewing it.
Hopefully we'll just consistently go, I can't play it.
Oh.
We'll see.
We'll see what happens. Our final piece of gaming news is Sony's cloud streaming service. Sony has started testing its cloud streaming service. The PlayStation maker says it's testing cloud streaming for PS5 games and is planning to add this as a feature to its PlayStation Plus premium subscription. A cloud feature for PS5 would mean you no longer have to download games to your console to stream them onto other devices. Sony currently supports streaming PS5 games to PC, Mac, iOS and Android devices, but you have to use your PS5 to host the games and download them and stream titles to your other devices. Sony's confirmation of PS5 cloud streaming comes more than 4 years after it unveiled a surprising partnership with Microsoft that would see companies collaborate to develop future cloud solutions for games and content streaming. Despite rivals exploring the use of Microsoft Azure data center-based solutions, recent job listings by Sony suggest that the partnership could be over.
I mean, let's face it, it's all been about cloud gaming for longer than we reckon.
Yeah, and I feel like the Activision Blizzard to Microsoft thing might have affected how Sony feel about their partnership with Microsoft, maybe?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we always talk about Microsoft sort of cloud-based gaming. Oh gosh, my words. It's so warm and my words are just not coming out. So this is
cloud-based gaming.
Yeah, but I feel like Sony are a little bit behind with this.
Well, yes, they are.
Yeah. They're playing catch up a bit, it's playing catch up a bit, which is unusual for Sony. We'll see what we'll see what happens.
Well, I guess Sony have traditionally been very kind of big and on the front foot over strong narrative games.
Yeah.
Which isn't a surprise considering, movies and things like that. And they are traditionally an entertainment company.
Yes.
Whereas Microsoft, being on the front foot over cloud gaming, traditionally a tech company.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens in the future.
And that was gaming.
That was the end of gaming news.
Right, Becky. Question for you.
Okay.
And I guess this is a question that encompasses everything that we do.
Okay.
Is gaming actually good for you?
I'll be the one person to ask, Andy. I feel like Mars is going to be yes.
We might be a little bit biased.
We might be biased.
There is a bias here.
Yeah.
So I'm going to presume that you think yes.
Yeah.
Is there a reason why you think yes?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's interesting. I think, probably to understand my opinion on it, you have to understand where I come from with gaming a bit.
Okay.
Well, I'm not going to go into that too much of the history because that could take us a long time. But I'm not a huge gamer, which people don't often associate with me because I'm on a gaming podcast, which is a very strange thing. I'm not a huge gamer, but I work with a lot of young people that game. So I work with young people aged 10 to 30, which is a very large age range. And it used to go down to 5, but it doesn't anymore.
Decade or two.
Yeah, just a decade or two.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of young people that game. They play different kinds of games. So some of them play FIFA, like Fortnite, or and then we have young people that play sort of COD or first-person shooters. And for me, a lot of them only ever hear negative press on it.
Okay.
And then it sort of gets associated in their head with negativity.
Okay.
And so we started the podcast, and I think you and Zach started the podcast originally because we were so tired of young people thinking negatively about their own gaming habits that we wanted to say to them that actually it's not just negative, it's positive. There is lots of things you can do and learn from gaming that are very positive. And throughout the pandemic, there was loads of research done on gaming, and actually we found that the positives vastly outweigh the negatives of gaming. And actually that's really important to understand. And so I do think there are lots of positives of gaming. And actually, I think we've learned that you can help your reading, it can help your writing. If you're a young person that's doing gaming, we've learned about how actually it can help you with your storytelling, because you're quite often they'll have subtitles or things like that, and you'll learn to read those and you'll learn to tell stories through games. It is very beneficial. Yeah, that's my personal opinion, and that's cool. And get a bit of background of my situation. But yeah, what do you think, Andy?
What do I think? Well, I obviously think yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I'm biased, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't think yes.
Yeah.
Again, why do I think yes? 5 points.
5 points. So many points.
Potentially 5 points.
Okay.
Point number 1, because it's fun.
Yeah.
Because people enjoy it. I enjoy it. When I'm playing Survivors or Stray or whatever, late at night, what's the alternative thing I could be doing as part of that wind down time kind of?
Yeah.
Doom scrolling on Twitter. Or,
yeah. What could you be doing instead?
It's okay for people to have a hobby that they do at home, and why not?
Yeah.
It can be a very varied hobby as well.
Yeah.
So gaming doesn't mean just one experience. You've got games like FIFA that you mentioned. You've got Fortnite. You've got Call of Duties. You've got action games. You've got team games. You've got games that people play as a group in front of a TV and you fall over.
Yeah.
And you've got games you possibly shouldn't
Yeah.
play late at night because, they are pure horror games.
Yeah.
Exactly like, going to the movies. There's lots of different types of movies out there. Games can give you a space to process as well. It gives space to kind of get involved with a story that isn't about you, but the story has themes that you can relate to.
Yeah.
And these games, out of the top of my head, my list includes themes about grief, family breakup, alcoholism, depression, relationship breakups, getting on with flatmates.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a theme in a game, it's probably out there. I talked about it being a hobby. One potential criticism that you hear about gaming is it takes up time. You know what?
Hobbies take time.
Hobbies do take time.
Yeah, it's true.
And if you were to compare it to, I don't know, climbing.
Yes.
If I was to go climbing at a climbing centre.
Yeah.
Let's underplay it. Let's not go too far. Let's go to a climbing centre in Exeter.
Yeah.
That would still take about 20-30 minutes to get to.
Yeah.
I don't know how long a session there is, but let's call it 45 minutes.
Yeah.
45 minutes there, 20-30 minutes to get back. That's the best part of 2 hours.
Yeah,
Boom.
absolutely.
Compared to just quick.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's there's lots of scientific evidence. There's now, obviously we talked a little bit in the news last week about how they're going to start doing more research about how games impact people. But realistically, there's lots of evidence now that suggests that gaming can help your brain develop, so it can help your cognitive abilities develop. Things like action games will often help you with your instincts and things, and actually that can help you with things like driving at night, which is really unusual. That's okay. And then effects of these playing these games. You can play them if you play them for 1 hour for 10 days. It will last for 5 months of playing these games. So those your instincts, and it's things like they're now developing games in the States to help young people with mathematics, which. That's cool. Mathematics scores are low. It can help you develop the cognitive ability to be able to do the maths, which is really important. They're also developing games to help young people develop empathy, and actually they have recognised that games can, because you have an emotional connection to them, they can help you learn how to be empathetic, which is really important.
I can see that.
Yeah, and so I think there's lots of benefits to gaming. That we don't always talk about, and I think we often have young people that come to us that have only ever heard the negative stuff. I think it's really important to remember that actually there is a very positive side to gaming, and that's why we do this podcast.
And I guess if you can just take a step back quickly to what you're saying in regards to education, that one criticism of the kind of classic education models is that you have the learning, and the learning can take a fair bit of time. You then get given the practice, and then it's the tests. Whereas with gaming, you learn it, you practice it, you test it.
All at the same time.
If you fail, you get to practice it again. And then you test it again. And it's really quick. And so therefore it sounds like a great model for learning how to do maths and things like that as well.
Absolutely.
I put this question to a few gamers within the YMCA community. Again, obviously there's a bias. But I felt it was important to kind of give them an opportunity. One comment was, love a good gaming session. It means I don't have to interact with anybody I don't want to, which on the surface of it can seem a bit, well, all right. But actually, that is a form of control over their own kind of free time. And that gives a time for them to actually, you know what, this is my space. if I don't want to deal with other people right now,
yep, and
that's absolutely fine.
That is absolutely fine. Like, my brother-in-law is a complete introvert. He loves gaming, but he loves gaming because he doesn't have to talk to anyone, and that is a perfectly reasonable response.
Totally.
Yeah.
Another is, it relaxes me when I feel overwhelmed from work and doing coursework. It's my calm down time. I just zone out and feel better afterwards.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things where actually this can help you switch off. It just switches your brain to something else. It is like stepping back and taking a break from things. Yeah. So.
And last comment is, it's like everything. Anyone can be interested, obsessed, addicted, but it's all in moderation. Yeah.
And that's what I think we want to try and get at, is actually it's just about learning more about gaming, but also saying actually it is a hobby and we can do it safely and we can do it well. It just needs to be, you never do all your hobby all the time. And I think that's the, understanding that it is a hobby and you need to have your time and your space to do it, but also you need to be able to know when to stop doing it.
Totally. I think that's probably a good point for us to stop before I rant even more.
Okay. And now it's time for Andy's Game of the Week. Andy, what's your game this week?
Now, imagine a time when you were having fun, but you weren't really sure what the heck was going on.
Yep, I've got it.
All right. Now put that memory in your head.
Okay.
Cassette Beasts.
Okay.
Starts with you waking up on an island.
Right.
Not knowing what's going on.
Okay.
Where you are.
Yep.
But you want to leave the island. You want to go home.
Oh, okay.
And there are monsters around the island.
Great.
Okay?
Yep.
You're then somehow given the power to change into a monster.
Okay. Yep.
To fight the other monsters in a kind of cartoon style, turn by turn combat.
Right.
Right? You with me so far?
Yeah.
You can also record the monsters.
Okay.
Record the monsters. You don't catch monsters.
Okay.
There's no catching monsters.
It's not Pokemon.
It's you've got to record them all.
Got to record them all. Okay.
Not catch them all. All right.
On a cassette, I presume.
Well, yeah. You kind of have this kind of little Walkman thing. Yeah.
Cute.
Yeah. And then once you've recorded the monsters, you can then transform into the monster that you need to fight the monster. The battle you're in.
Okay.
I was tempted to say something like Pikachu, I choose. Anyway.
It's not Pokemon.
It's not Pokemon. I have been assured it is, though, very Pokemon.
Okay.
I've got to admit, when Pokemon was first thing, it kind of passed me by a little bit. I think it could be an age thing, could have been access to update gaming kit thing at the time. But apparently, this is very Pokemon.
Okay.
And so therefore, probably ideal for anyone who wants a Pokemon game.
Yep.
And they don't have, like, a Switch.
Yes.
It is out on Switch.
Yep.
It's out on PC. It's out on Xbox. It's out on Game Pass. And it's ridiculously fun game to play.
Nice.
So, yeah. Ridiculously fun. Don't have a clue what's going on. But I'm okay with it.
Sometimes it's okay not to have a clue what's going on.
Exactly.
And it makes it more fun that way.
Welcome to my life.
And if you're on YouTube, you can see it behind us.
Well,
if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the trailer. It looks very retro. It looks like I had to ask you when it was out because I looked at it and thought maybe it's older than I imagined.
No, out at the end of April this year.
Yes, yeah, but because it's quite like pixely.
Yeah,
but it looks beautiful. It looks really colourful, which I always enjoy.
And the soundtrack.
Yeah.
As well, need to mention soundtrack. Soundtrack is so chill.
Really?
Yeah, I'm tempted to put together some sort of soundtrack and late at night.
Little lullaby. So you
just a little bit like that.
Oh,
yeah, it's very calming.
Yeah. Great. That sounds amazing. That is
very common.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home.
No, he's just having
a
chill. It's just in a zone now. Like, I'm so chilled out. He's thinking about the music, playing it in his head.
I might just put it on after we're finished.
Okay. Yeah. Well, in speaking of finishing, that's all we've got time for today in our podcast. You can find us on @YMCXter and @YMCXter Games, and you can find us on all social medias and YouTube. So please feel free to follow us and like and subscribe and comment if you're watching on YouTube. And we will see you next week.
See ya.